decided at this point on how to pay for this construction? And if you are to build a new dam, does that mean that the water level will have to be drained in order to build it, or can you keep it?
We think we can keep it at the winter pool level. Is that right, Steve?
Yes, Governor, it is. Currently, we think we can keep it at the winter pool, rock construction.
So they're going to always look as to what's the safest thing to do, because as the water level is lower, the pressure on the dam is less. So it makes sense. In terms of how do we pay for it, there'll probably be multiple capital bills, and so we would have the first installment. It's not all worked out yet. The first installment in the next capital bill, and then it'd probably have some capital bills after I'm no longer governor. So I've asked these legislators if they might have an interest in making sure that the capital bill's funded. It's always a tough thing to get legislators to want to have a capital bill and spend money on projects in their district, but they've decided that they might be able to help us.
Would this qualify for federal funds? Could you dip into a rainy day fund? Could you get started that way?
Well, I don't think we need to do that, and we're not going to go into any rainy day fund here. This would be a capital project, and the one thing we don't want to do is jeopardize the finances of the state. And we can get this done appropriately in proper time. And in terms of whether there are federal dollars available, Jerry Ray is going to be checking with the, I don't know, have you been able to do that yet, Jerry, to see, because it could affect one of the big highways there, and perhaps there's a few dollars we can scrape together, but I'm not looking for some money to rain from the heavens. Jerry, do you?
It's possible. It's going to have an impact on 70 and the interchange at 79. We're going to talk to Federal Highway about whether there's some way we could.
Is there any estimated time frame here? When work will begin? When will it be completed?
Well, Randy, they think it might be a 4 to 5 year. Why don't we just go 5 years before it's all said and done? I mean, the one thing that I want to be monitoring and all the way along is we don't want to get hung up on bureaucratic snafus, red tape, and everything else. Now, it's inevitable when you deal with federal government, Corps, that you're going to run into some of that. I mean, it's just inevitable. Inside of our administration, we better not run into that, because we're not going to tolerate that. So you'd have a couple seasons where, you could use a pontoon boat, you could get out and use other kind of watercraft that are no wake. And but there's still, and I'm told here by a few of the legislators that some of the business owners are looking at other kind of watercraft. So that's a possibility. But at the end of the day, Randy, we don't want to overpromise, but I think 5 years is probably the most period of time it would take. Steve, you have any?
Governor, that's correct. Right now, currently estimates are preliminary estimates for design and construction of 5 years.
Governor, I know that jobs and small business is important to you, and the small business owners out in that region say they're not going to be able to make it unless that lake is full. Will you do anything to help them out?
Look, we're going to be spending $125 to $150 million on this lake, and I just hope we don't get any pushback from the rest of the state saying, well, what about us? So, I mean, the easiest thing for a politician to do is to hold out this hope and then only have hope dashed. I'm not aware of any programs that wouldn't be employed here. I'm just not aware of any. So I don't want to tell you that we're looking at this fund or that fund. And when you're spending that kind of money to fix this lake, it's a giant commitment from it's not my money, it's the money from the people of the state of Ohio. And that's the biggest commitment that we can make at this point.
And the impact on the folks who are out there, the residents who have homes, the businesses out there, what do you say to those folks?
Well, I guess one of the things I would say is it's a shame that nobody told them about this years ago, and we didn't deal with this problem years ago. That it's unbelievable that we somehow looked the other way, and I can't turn the clock back. All I can do is deal with the situation as it exists. And in terms of people who have homes out there, their homes aren't going anywhere. They're still going to be able to stay in their homes. They're still going to have a beautiful view of Buckeye Lake. It'll be shallower, but they're still going to have a beautiful view of the lake. And once this project is done, you know, you're good for 100 years. I mean, it's not like this, you know, remember, one of the recommendations is you drain the thing, and we're not gonna do that, because we believe it is an important asset for us, and I think this is the responsible way to go about it. But there's no question that this imposes hardships on people, small businesses, people that have docks, you know, it's understandable that they would be upset, particularly when this kind of comes out of the blue at them, at a time when people don't trust politicians or government. I'm sort of part of that crowd that doesn't trust. But in some cases, it's real. And in this case, it's very real. And to try to you know, negotiate water levels or whatever, let me just say this to you. Somebody says, well, you know, my business will be hurt. We need to raise the water level. And the next thing you know, we have a dam break. Then what do they say? Sorry? Sorry doesn't work. This is what we have to do to protect life and property.